We ready to roll?
Broadcasting live from the internet, it's Tuesday night, and this is the Panels on Pages podcast.
Big boys playing with big toys.
This is quality content.
The boomers are into it.
Hey man, I just show up.
With your hosts, Lee Rodriguez.
I am a visionary. Like, oh, you have a podcast? I'm like, no, that's not me. That's somebody else.
Jason Nyes.
Yeah, sure. I'm not getting any vegetables in my diet. I'm just a thick boy.
Jose Guzman.
Is Jose on the show tonight?
He says he's coming.
It's like Elton John all over again, just minus the death threats.
Kelly Harris.
Reach your hand in your pants there, big boy. That's not me. I don't sound like that anymore.
And our good buddy Mahoney.
And Mahoney's here. What's up, Mahoney?
We can do just glorious, wonderful things on our phones, people.
No one's ever done anything like this before.
It's gonna be massive.
It's going to be great. I mean, obviously, I think it'll be great.
And it's all killer, no filler.
My seat's on fire! You take so hot!
Come on. It's so good. It's pretty good. It's there. It's reliable. You know what you're getting every single time.
Man, I'm so glad you found us.
You're all terrible people, and I'm glad you're my friend.
Put that in the intro.
That's really funny.
Over 500 episodes, and you'd think they'd have the hang of it by now.
It seems like the concept that would run its course very quickly.
Hey, it's election night 2024, November 5th, 2024. It is the Panels on Pages podcast, episode 673. I'm your host tonight, Jason Nyes, K-Nice if you're nasty. Lee Rodriguez is not here because he is at a concert on election night in Tennessee. What a choice. I'm sure he's having a great time.
That's the plot to the Purge number 5.
And you know, we figured it's a podcast tradition to broadcast live on election night. Why don't we all share our anxiety together, because we're not going to have a definitive answer by the time we go to bed tonight. So
yeah, let's look at the map. All right. What I'm seeing is Jeb pulling ahead.
Oh my God, Jeb Bush.
Imagine.
I did just see that Ted Cruz has retained his seat, and it's like, Texas, what
is
are
your deal?
you doing?
They love Eddie Munster.
It is clear it's just money at this point, right? It's just he puts more money in your pocket. He cuts your taxes, whatever the fuck, because it's definitely not his winning personality.
I'm sure it's all gerrymandering and other nonsense like that.
Yeah,
Did you see, yesterday when a fly flew right into his mouth?
Yes, sure did. You know, I feel like we've done this for 20 years now, where every time Ted Cruz's seat comes up, it's like, you know, this has got to be the time that Texas finally says, "Get out, you ugly freak."
Yep. Nope, not this time.
He just keeps squeaking by. You know, very similar reaction to seeing every southern state get called for Donald Trump, and it's just like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Why are you doing this to yourselves?
It is. We are definitely at that point where it's just like, fucking why?
Mm-hmm.
Because
oh man, I just saw on Twitter, at HBomber guy says, if Trump loses, Musk is going to kill himself live on X, the everything platform.
Yes.
Consider this my endorsement of a candidate. And then there's like a community note that says, this is speculation. It is currently unknown if Musk will kill himself live on X or simply overdose on ketamine alone in a Tesla abandoned by friends and family.
Oh. Well,
it feels good.
Either way,
he's not.
Whichever way he wants to do it, fine with me.
He's not going to be surrounded by friends and family.
Well, his friends and family.
Abandoned, not surrounded.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks, X, the everything app.
Maybe it's my bias, but it's so funny when you see that a celebrity, whether they be an actor, a musician, a political figure, an influencer, whenever somebody comes out and endorses a candidate for president, like, you know who they're going to endorse by what you think of that person, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder who Jake Paul is endorsing for president.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I'll tell you though, like, there's this TikTok account of like this very flamboyant gay guy and like two girl backup dancers. They do these fitness dance routines. They're like big on TikTok. And one of the girls today came out and shared her "I voted" sticker and said that she voted for Kamala. And the comments are all these people being like, "Well, you just lost a follower." I'm like, "Did you think that the flamboyantly gay dancer
Backup
and his two
dancer.
backup dancers were Republicans?" Is that what you thought? What a world.
It is truly a crazy country that we live in.
Yeah.
We just got to brace for it, right?
A lot of dumb fuckers.
And it's weird because Lee's said it. I know I've said it. I feel like you see a lot less of the Trump stuff around lately, and you assumed it was because they were flipping, but no, they're just being quieter, I guess.
Wish they'd be even more quiet.
Like, in reality, this two-time popular vote loser who tried to overthrow the government should not carry a single state electorally, right?
You'd think.
You would think. 34 convicted felonies.
But you forget that he's been chosen by God.
Oh, right. I always forget that part.
I'm very much in the camp that, the evangelicals talk about the end times and the Antichrist and all that. And, they're big on Israel because, that's where the end times are going to start. And it's like, the chosen one thing is very Anakin Skywalker-y to me. It's like, oh yeah, Trump is the chosen one. He is the Antichrist. He is going to bring all the evangelicals to the kingdom of God.
Yeah, it's very clear to me that they're all just completely oblivious to the fact that they're being taken advantage of. Like,
Yeah.
you go back and look at like when it switched to like, oh no, we better be real worried about abortion, and it's just when they decided they needed that group to take advantage of. And it's like, how do you be so dumb? Like, who wants to be taken advantage of? Like, get it together.
Speaking of abortion, both the abortion rights amendment and the recreational weed amendment in Florida both failed because they needed a 60% supermajority for both to pass. And both were like 54, 57%. So it's just super cool to think about that more than half of the state favored both of those things, but nope, not gonna happen. Whoops.
Yeah, that's how voting works.
Oopsies. So it starts to it gets me starting to spiral a little bit. But then you think, okay, well, it had to be a supermajority. It had to be over 60, and that is not the case for president, so
True.
we'll see.
That's fair.
We'll see. Juggalo John says it's
fair.
all a simulation and the PC is running out of memory.
Well, the simulation sucks, Juggalo. New Hampshire's doing its same weird thing it likes to do, where it's Kamala is leading, but then Republican governor is leading. So that, okay, go figure with that. I don't know what we're doing.
Well,
sure, let's vote to protect abortion rights at the federal level, but take them away at the state level. Like, what are we doing?
I think everyone should have an
It's
abortion.
dumb.
We should do some post-mortem abortions too.
Yeah, there we go.
Retroactive abortions. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right,
Some of them famous after birth abortions that he's talking about.
Yeah, we need more of those.
I'd like to after-birth abortion a lot of people.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of shitty kids. If we could just afterbirth abortion them, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So the greenest people.
Do you think when he talks about post-birth abortions, he's just confusing school shootings?
Right. That's so funny that hasn't been an issue in the campaign for a couple months now. It feels like.
Yeah.
They mentioned it at the convention, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not enough school shootings happening lately.
Gotta get back on that.
Or just the right amount. What is the right amount of school shootings? 0, right?
I'd like to say 0. Yeah.
0 is the correct amount.
To me. Depends on who you ask, I guess.
Kelly, do you have anything interesting you want to talk about so we don't just have to sit here and despair?
Be sad.
How's the fluid
Insurance
situation
companies
at
can
the
eat
house?
a big fucking sack of dicks.
What companies?
Insurance companies.
Oh, yeah.
Because someone needs a lot of liquid pulled out of their body, but you're like, you know what? We're gonna cap you at 5 liters. Can't do any more than that. Sorry.
That's so very strange to me.
It's completely absurd.
It's like you're already hooked up. You're already draining. Yeah. Is it the cost of the container that they're draining into? Are they not reusing those containers?
Well, here's the thing. I walked into the room last week when he got it, and it was capped at 5 liters, and the container was maybe a quarter of the way full.
It's so strange because you could only assume it's a cost thing, but it will only be more expensive to do it in like small doses,
right?
You know?
Yeah. You would think just pull it all out and then get rid of all that.
Exactly. Like, there's got to be a setup cost.
And like they're not taking that. What did you say? It was half full, quarter full?
It was like a quarter full.
They're not taking that quarter full bucket full of mystery juice over to the next room and
adding to it.
And they're not making a patient soup.
Yeah.
Like a Sharps container.
What if you could see like the different patients by the levels? Like one of those drinks with the different consistencies in it.
Yeah, so I'm hoping tomorrow when we take Dad in, they're going to be like, hey, the insurance company's allowing us to take everything. That would be nice.
Is it just man hours? Like,
no.
They can only afford to drain 5 liters or else they go into overtime.
Yeah, I would love to know what the logic of getting fluid drained being capped is, because it's an insane
I bet it would
thing.
not be satisfying at all.
Yeah,
I bet it would just be real upsetting.
The logic is they don't want to pay for anything. So they will make arbitrary limits on how many liters of goop you can take out of somebody.
Yeah.
What if it's like you can only give a certain amount of blood. You can only leak a 5 liters of goo before you start losing like your equilibrium. Like
maybe
your
but
shoes
they
don't
have
fit
taken
right.
Almost 12 liters out of him at one point.
Right,
so.
when it was an emergency.
Yeah. Well, no, that was just one of the appointments.
So they cut back. They were like, okay, we have to dispose of too many liters of goo. We need to set a cap on these people.
In the hospital, pretty much, I don't recall. The first just appointment we had, they took 5. Then the second one, they went just let's empty them out and took the 12. And then this past time, they're doing 5 again. So it's that doesn't make any sense. And then for my mom... Okay. Well, what should I do? Should I tap him and do I want maple syrup out of him?
So let's say they pull the first 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grab the bag, suck it dry.
Okay.
and
That's
then
an idea.
what? There's no 5 liters in there. Keep going.
Yeah.
Or call this the Bugs Bunny move. You cut a hole in the floor and then cut a hole in the bottom of the container, so it drains down to the floor below.
Okay. Yeah.
And just
I think we got something.
It drains them completely dry.
Yeah. I'm into that. Yeah, and then on my mom's side of things, the insurance decided that she actually didn't need the at-home nurse visits.
Oh, yeah, she seems to be doing great.
Yeah, they decided that the day she was going to get her staples removed. So she didn't get her staples removed for a week before they were like, oh, wait, okay, you do, in fact, need at-home nursing. We are allowing you 3 more visits, but also 2 of those visits already happened.
No take-backsies.
Yeah, they just retroactively were like, all right, these 2 count to those 3, so you get 1.
It's like, birthday presents or something.
Yeah.
Well, I did just buy you that thing the other week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wishing for more wishes type situation.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. The best part of it all is how you are just super confident that all of these decisions are made for the best interest of your parents.
Of course.
Like, surely they just don't want to suck out too much goop because he'll wind up looking like a skeleton.
Yeah, they have their reasons.
And they probably don't want that nurse visiting your mom because maybe that nurse is a racist.
She's been stealing the spoons, I think.
Yeah, so they're just looking out for your parents, probably.
Yeah. And this is kind of why I don't have much to be really worried about the election.
Yeah, because neither of these fucking people are gonna
do anything
help this
to
situation.
Help me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamala has said that she's trying to help that sandwich generation and get that at-home Medicare.
That would be cool.
To be fair, the Kamala's plan would do a lot to help you if that ever got passed.
Right, but if they actually make it into office, have a majority in the House and Senate, and decide to actually do anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna need to actually do something.
A lot of contingencies going on.
It'd be like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
because they don't
just
like
in
doing
time.
it.
Be cool.
Just in time for her to run for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I do think that Tim Walz would suck the goo out of your dad.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Like not in like a sexual way, just in like a MacGyver type way.
Yeah, like a snake bite situation.
Yeah.
Hey pal, let me get in on this. Let me see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the type of guy who would use a Bic pen to stab a hole in your throat so you could breathe. He'd be like, I got this. 5 liters my foot. And he'd fix your dad right up.
And I'd go, thank you, Vice President Waltz. And he'd go, it's Coach Waltz.
Exactly. Now, J.D. Vance, he's not taking any goo out of your dad.
No, he's just watching Boys in the Hood.
That is such a silly fucking story.
Stupid.
But it's even sillier because I know as a kid I watched a lot of movies like that. Boys in the Hood wasn't one of my favorites, but fucking New Jack City was. So imagine me running for vice president and telling Joe Rogan that one of my favorite movies was New Jack City as a kid. He said something to the effect of it shaped his entire worldview. Boys in the Hood
like
did.
his biggest political inspiration or something.
His biggest political inspiration was watching black people get murdered in Boys in the Hood.
I mean, that checks out.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense.
Legit, honestly.
Maybe he had the Mahoney cut of RoboCop, but of Boys in the Hood. Black dudes getting shot.
Yeah, but it was the opposite.
Yeah.
His was only the violent scenes.
Man, I am old enough to remember when that movie came out, and it was a big controversy because of how violent it was for the time, and the comments made about police and all that. We were such delicate flowers in the 90s.
It's very weird, for them to complain that movie is violent coming out of the 80s. Like,
Right.
no. Like, no. That movie had got a lot of flack for many different reasons. It cannot have anything to do with the violence. They were just looking for reasons.
What have you been up to, Mahoney?
What have I been up to? Fortnite Chapter 2 is back.
Yep.
Chapter 2 Fortnite is when all of us started to play together, so it's very nostalgic.
And
Every
boy,
time
oh boy,
I drop on the map,
it is hot out there.
oh my god, all the worst players are out. All the streamers, all the YouTubers. These people show up, and before you can even figure out that they're there, you're dead.
Yeah,
It's
never
miserable.
even see their face.
Yeah. It's like, I got footsteps. I'm in the lobby. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about me. But it is very nostalgic, and it's very fun to be on this map again. And, like,
Yeah.
everywhere you go, it's like, oh, I remember this place. I
Yep.
remember that place. Like, it's a great time.
Steamy Stacks, going to the farm, then going up on Lookout Point.
Yep. That
I just
little,
wish
like,
there was
fishing village in the back.
I wish there were cans of bees.
Oh my gosh. The cans of bees is amazing. They did your loadout, like saved loadout thing, and I was like, cans of bees, the saved loadout, they hear us. They're listening to us.
Mm-hmm. At some
No
point,
doubt.
there's got to be like an AI scraper that just listens to every podcast on the internet and searches for keywords, like a Google alert.
Probably.
What a
'Cause
miserable AI. That's the AI that learns how to kill itself. Remember when I think it was Google, maybe it was Amazon. One of them had a grocery store, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like it's all AI. Like you just walk in, you put shit in your cart, and then we charge you when you walk out. Like it's all like
Mm-hmm.
this really cool high tech thing." And then we found out that they were just paying a bunch of people in like India to
Yep.
watch cameras and be like, "Oh, you got crackers. Charge them for crackers." That'll be the podcast scraper. It's just this room full of 6-year-old Chinese kids listening to every podcast that's ever published, marking it all down like it's last week in pop.
Classic last week in pop. One of the greatest artistic accomplishments in American history. Last week in pop.
You know, who
Yeah.
can disagree?
Like,
It was ahead of its time.
It
at
really
one point,
was.
remember that they were saying that every tweet was going to go into the Library of Congress. I think
Yes.
Last Week in Pop needs to make it into like the Smithsonian or something.
Yep.
I don't disagree. I believe it's been lost to history, but it should be in there.
We got bits and pieces here and there.
But yeah, other than that, I don't think I've done any. Okay, so we haven't talked since before Halloween.
Right.
As part of my Halloween time, I watched all the Purge movies.
Okay.
I have two observations on the Purge. First of all, the last Purge is this Western, the Forever Purge situation, where a bunch of people are just like, fuck it, well, who says we have to stop purging? We're just going to purge forever. And then a bunch of Americans have to flee to Mexico, including the pregnant lady who has a baby in Mexico, and then her baby is a Mexican citizen.
Oh.
Which I'm like, I don't know that Mexico has birthright citizenship, but maybe they do. Who knows? But it's like, they flip the whole immigrant script on its head. They're like, we're the Purge. Check it out. We're
topical.
making a social commentary.
Well, yeah, they've always been a little. They got that little political lean into them.
Yeah, exactly.
How many Purge movies are there?
I think there's 4 in a TV show.
Oh, I would have swore there were 7.
Oh no, there's not that many. There's 2 seasons of a TV show though, and the TV show, honestly, I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Like, what do I need 10 episodes of a Purge show when the movies can wrap it up in 90 minutes? Like, why do I need 10 hours?
Yeah, only if you're doing like an anthology. Like each episode is a different year in a different era.
Yeah, that is not what they do.
We did not talk about that news that there are 2 different Predator movies coming out next year.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them is an anthology, like an animated one on Netflix, and then the other
Ooh.
one is the sequel to Prey, or prequel, or whatever the fuck.
That's gonna be awesome. My other observation about the Purge movies is that the first Purge movie is the one that just happens like inside the guy's house.
Right.
Like he's the rich security system guy, and he closes down like all the metal things over his doors and windows, and his family's trying to enjoy the Purge, but people are trying to get in because his son lets some random person off the street in their house. And then all the other Purge movies take place outside in the Purge.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, the guy is just like, all right, like it's the Purge, time to close all these things over our doors and windows, call it a night, everybody. Just stay home and relax, and no one can get inside our house, and we are cut off from the outside world. And I was watching that, and I was like, if you take out the everything is outside being violent and burning part, that sounds wonderful. Like, wouldn't it be great? It hits like 6, 7 o'clock at night. Everybody's home, and you're just like, all right, that's the end. And you just flip a little key, and like a bunch of metal shit just closes over all your doors and windows. And you're like,
That's
all
the
right,
dream.
call it a night.
And then it shoots you into space.
Right? Yeah, fine. That's fine. Let's go to space. How bad could it be in space?
Yeah.
Juggalo John
Who's
in
ever
the
gone
chat.
to space and had a bad time? Not the Challenger astronauts.
Well, did they technically go into space?
No, that's the joke. They didn't make it to space.
Juggalo John in the chat says the Prey movie takes place in World War One.
Oh my God! Sign me up.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to World War II already.
They finally figured out the Predator formula. Just pick a cool era and drop a Predator in it.
How about 2024? Maybe November-ish?
Yeah, sounds good. There was a tweet the other day, I don't think I sent it to you, but there was a tweet the other day where somebody was like, I'm pretty mad that pedophiles ruined the term predator, because I would have loved to be called a predator.
Yeah, it's a badass name.
Right? Like if somebody was like, oh, that's Kelly, watch out, he's a predator, and it didn't have the connotation that it has now, you'd be like, damn right, watch out. I'll chase you through the woods. You'll have to cover yourself in mud. They ruined it.
Speaking of spooky Halloween time movies, Kelly, have you gotten a chance to watch The Substance yet?
No, I haven't gotten around to it.
All right.
I haven't gone to Mubi to watch it. What the fuck? That's not real.
You can watch it on Skrillex with a free trial.
I did see it in a theater with 4 other sickos, and there were a couple parts where I definitely had to look away from the screen, but I still think Mary might enjoy it. It is very body horror-y, very bloody at times. I'm sorry if I have spoiled anything for you, Kelly. I'm so sorry. I thought you had already seen it.
No worries.
But yeah, there is a point towards the end of the movie that very much reminds me of a CZW show.
Hell yeah.
So look forward to that. Loved it. Big fan. I keep calling it a feminist classic. Lee disagrees. He doesn't think it's very feminist, but still, 2 female leads and a female director, I consider that feminist. Come on. Give them something.
I have not seen it, but I did watch a TikTok that described the whole movie to me, and it certainly seems like a feminist classic.
Yeah.
That appears to be the gist of the story.
I think it'll go down as an all-timer. One that I do not think will go down as an all-timer, Jose and his lady came over for Halloween, and we bought Beetlejuice off of Amazon Prime.
No.
And we all described it as very weird. It's like 5 different movies going on at a time, separate from one another. There's Beetlejuice's undead wife coming back from the grave is one story. There's Willem Dafoe as a former TV cop is now a afterlife cop hunting down Beetlejuice's ex-wife. There is Beetlejuice trying to get back with Lydia. There is the story of Lydia's daughter, Jenna Ortega. There is a story about the dad, the actor was the sexual predator who is now dead, and how Delia, Catherine O'Hara's character, is dealing with the death of him, and none of it feels like it connects. It's like too much shit. And then in the end, it's just like, okay, we're just retreading the movie again, but with all these 9 different extra plot lines that are unnecessary. And it's just, it looks weird. It's very, there's a lot of practical in it. I will give them that. But then when they do use CGI, it looks like some 2001 shit. Not like 2001 the movie, like 2001 the year. It just looks so bad compared to the practical stuff. And it looks like current era Tim Burton, not 1988 Beetlejuice Tim Burton. It's very candy colored and Willy Wonka, Alice in Wonderlandy. It doesn't have the same vibes as the original Beetlejuice. That's not to say it's bad. It's just weird. Okay, the weirdest thing, going back to the sexual predator kitty porn actor. So he's not in this for obvious reasons. Spoiler alert, they kill off his character. But if you're killing off his character for what we assume is because of the allegations or whatever he has been found guilty for, you're removing him and his character from this movie, then like you don't need to bring it up, really, right? Like, it's best to just kind of move past it.
He's dead. It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. You can have one line that's like, oh, he died a while back. He's doing such and such in the afterlife or whatever. You never have to see him. You never have to talk about him again. But for some reason, they decided that they needed to keep talking about it and keep like showing pictures of him, and he's in it, but like you don't see his face. Like his top half is gone, but like the character is there in it, and they keep kind of showing him. So they keep reminding you that this guy was a fucking kitty diddler as you're watching the movie.
A real strange
Instead
choice.
of just being like, no, forget about that guy. And it adds nothing to the story, really, besides making you uncomfortable that they keep mentioning the kitty diddler.
Yeah, certainly no one is showing up to watch Beetlejuice, being like, man, I hope I get to hear more about the humans.
Yes.
You know?
So, your mileage may vary.
Very strange.
I still haven't seen, like, any of those new Ghostbusters movies, but I feel like this is very much on par with that.
I actually just watched the Frozen Empire one, and while it was nothing I thought was exciting or great, I was like, I bet Will would love this. Like, if I was a current day kid, I think I'd be all about that movie.
That reminds me, I did see the Saturday Night movie, which is the first night of Saturday Night Live. And I had a great time, but I'm a Saturday Night Live nerd, and just a lot of the casting is phenomenal. Dude from New Girl as Garrett Morris is great. The guy they got to play Belushi is perfect. Shocked me was Dylan O'Brien, who was on the Teen Wolf TV show and then was the Maze Runner. I forget what else he's been in, but like hot young up and comer dude is Dan Aykroyd, and he fucking looks just like him, sounds just like him. Perfect performance, blew me away.
Nice.
And that leads me to a little trivia tidbit that I saw. So Dan Aykroyd was in Frozen Empire this year, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and then he was being played in Saturday Night. And the only other time that has happened was in 1989. Or the only other time it has happened where Dan Aykroyd has appeared in a movie as a character, acted in a movie, and then someone has played Dan Aykroyd in another movie. Also happened in 1989 when he was in Ghostbusters 2, and then the John Belushi biopic Wired came out the same year, starring Michael Chiklis, where somebody also played Dan Aykroyd in that movie.
Wild.
I don't know.
What a weird trivia thing.
I don't know if that has ever happened ever before in the history of like actors. Imagine being an actor and then being portrayed in another movie.
Yeah, multiple times. That's got to be a weird feeling.
I got to figure out what my last Movie Pass movie is going to be.
Oh, are you down to your last one?
Yeah.
Well, what's coming up?
Weird movie year.
Fucking Wicked. I'm not gonna go see Wicked by myself.
No. Nosferatu's at the end of the year.
Man, I got a bad taste in my mouth about Nosferatu ever since seeing Shadow of the Vampire. I thought that was one of the most boring, disappointing movies I've ever seen in my life.
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2, yeah.
Gladiator 2.
We're going to have to go see that with Jose's mom because she loves Pedro Pascal.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I already had to communicate the news that he's only in it for like 20 minutes. So I wanted to let Jose know that so he could send that info along. And he's like, oh, she don't fucking care. Like, she'll find out that he's in some episode of something from 30 years ago. She'll pull that shit up, fast forward to his scene, watch it, and then turn that shit off.
That's a hardcore fan right there. I did forget one important update. Kelly, I don't think you'll ever see this one coming. You can now, in Fortnite, do the Crip Walk again.
Oh, is it because of the Snoop Dogg?
Yep. They brought Snoop Dogg into Fortnite, and then they made an emote called the Snoop Walk, where you can Crip Walk all over your foes.
I feel like, okay, Snoop is a legitimate Crip. So, but I feel like him doing it as a dance, as an emote for Fortnite, like he is now given everyone a pass to do a Crip Walk.
I think that's essentially it. Like,
yes.
if everyone doesn't have a pass, we have a problem.
Right. Yes.
Because now children are out there learning about it through Fortnite emotes.
Right.
And they're not going to know that they're not supposed to do that.
Bloods and Crips haven't always been known for their chill demeanors when it comes to things. You're not supposed to wear
True.
red or blue in one of the other neighborhoods, but I've never really heard of somebody Crip walking and then getting jumped because they weren't an actual Crip. But I wouldn't put it past them either, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a concern. I don't know if it's real either, but definitely a concern.
Because otherwise, Snoop Dogg just really pranked a bunch of white kids, and it's going to turn out badly. There are so many people.
Regardless of what happens with the white kids and the Crip Walk, there's nothing more satisfying than knocking somebody and then Crip walking over them. They're crawling around on their knees, yelling at their teammate to come revive them, and you're just dancing on them.
What song is it?
Drop it like it's hot.
Oh, yeah, because he does that dance in the video, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny when they had that event and it was like 3 rap legends, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Ice Spice.
Fucking Ice Spice.
And Mary was telling me about it. She wasn't allowed to twerk at all, so she was just
Nope.
standing there.
It was so weird. Will waited all day for that event, and it started, and it's just Ice Spice singing, and he was like, "What is this? Why is this happening?"
Why
Like,
isn't
I
she
don't know,
shaking her ass?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Ice Spice is weird
It turned
because
around when Stoop got there.
her songs aren't very good. She talks a lot about poopy and farts. You know, she doesn't really have
True.
a stage presence.
I thought she was a fake Spice Girl at first.
All she really has is shaking
You
her
wish.
ass, and there are plenty of asses in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like everyone else who's famous these days, she hit on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
She
she's
doesn't need to have good songs. She needs to have good 13 seconds of 2 to 3 songs, and then boom, viral.
But to the levels that she has risen based on her viral fame is wild. Because
True.
it makes
Well-
sense for like a Chaperone who, you know, seems pretty talented and diverse in her abilities and, you know, a star, right?
Yeah. You also have to remember she got the Taylor Swift bump because Taylor Swift was dating that weird 1975 guy. And then
Mhm.
he was like, "Oh yeah, I think Ice Spice is a piece of shit." And then Taylor Swift had to come out and be like, "She's actually my best friend of all time, and now she's at my concert and on a song with me. Just save her boyfriend from utter disaster."
I got NBC News on, and they're talking about your home state, your home city, Kelly, Milwaukee. And before that, they were showing shots of the anticipated Harris rally, and there was a lot of people out there. Oh boy. Hopefully a lot of people aren't disappointed.
Yeah, I saw the Republicans are already pitching a fit over some early voting ballots or something.
Let them pitch fits. Let's count every vote. How about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see some stuff that's already been called end up flipping. Because for whatever reason,
I don't know
counting
about
early
the-
votes is the hardest thing in the world.
Already called, who knows? But the stuff that they're like predicting, I think that could very easily go back and forth.
Yeah. Because I don't think we're gonna have an answer maybe until the end of the week of who wins.
I think we'll know before the end of the week.
I
I
think
don't think
there'll
we'll
be
know before the end of the night.
I feel like
but I think there'll be so many forced recounts and such.
in 2000 it was 2020. It was like the Saturday after Election Day, if I remember correctly, that they finally called it for Biden. And we got the infamous "We Did It, Joe" video. Who was that young up-and-comer in that video?
That was Ice Spice.
Yeah. Just shaking her ass. "We did it, Joe. I'm the fart."
The fart. What a line. What a fucking song.
You think I'm the shit.
What a world.
You think you're the shit, but you're only a fart.
Not even the fart, even.
It sounds like a Bloodhound Gang lyric.
It really does.
It shouldn't be like a cute girl lyric. I'm sorry. No matter how big your ass is, I don't want to hear about you're the shit, but you're the fart. It's 2024. Do whatever you want. Be the shit. Be the fart.
Yeah, be some farts.
Do all of it.
Be whoever you want to be, right?
I'm a fart. You're a fart.
Do
We're all
all of
farts.
We're all a big old wet fart.
Yeah.
All right, boys. What do you think? You want to call this early?
Yeah, let's
I
wrap
say
it
we
up.
call it. 2 pieces of good news as we leave. Virginia was previously leading red, and now it seems to be flipping blue, and
All
same
right.
with Maine. So
It's almost as if we should
things
make
are
these
turning a little.
snap decisions just mere hours after the polls close.
Yeah, I know the whole thing about the red mirage and how it's easy to count the votes where nobody lives, and that's where most of the red votes come from, and it takes longer to count the votes where everybody lives. That's where most of the blue votes come from. But boy, is it disheartening when
Yeah.
it's like just jumps out to like, oh yeah, all these places are going for him, and you're like, oh shit.
I blame the entertainmentification of the election.
Yeah.
Sure.
1,000,000%.
It's
They
sports.
need to have these fucking maps, and they need to keep updating them. When it's like, if in
Mhm.
actuality you look at like, oh, we're calling it for whoever, and it's like, all right, how many votes have been counted? And then they're like 5%.
Yeah, there was. I think it was like Kansas or something. I opened at one point. I was like, "Holy shit, Kansas is already called," and it was like 3% reporting. I was like, "All right, well that seems bold. That
Yeah.
seems like a real stretch."
Yeah.
Election night's got to be one of the hardest live news nights because
See, I
And-
think it's
and-
probably the easiest because you can just make shit up.
sure,
I was
but
thinking the same thing, Kelly. I was like, "All this fake. I'll just make it up."
All
as
you
we
gotta
go."
do is just talk. You can say anything, and it's like, and then it's just like, oh, the precincts weren't in yet. you know.
whoopsies.
Whoopsies.
Election alert.
That doesn't explain why you said all those slurs. I just only 37% of my precincts were in.
Election alert. We've got poll closings in California, Idaho, Oregon, Wisconsin happening in 5 seconds. That's not an alert.
Nice.
Like,
Well, that's weird
it.
because
Close the
Wisconsin polls closed 2 hours
oh
ago.
shit! I said Wisconsin. I meant Washington.
Oh,
It also doesn't really matter, like, because if you're in line, like, you're not kicked out.
yeah.
Oh shit! They
close it
called
whenever you
California
want.
for Kamala Harris.
Well, yeah, they could have done that yesterday.
Idaho, you fucking dipshits. You potato eating mix.
You sure are the fucking Idaho. Yeah, Idaho.
All right, it is 11:01 p.m. on November 5th. We're currently looking at Kamala Harris 145, Trump 2 something. They changed the graphic by the time I finished talking. So we'll see what it is next week when we're back for the podcast. Maybe, possibly, maybe Jose will be set up by then.
Maybe we'll
Who
be on
knows?
fire.
Maybe we will trick him into being on the podcast next week.
Let's
see.
tell Jose that we set up a meet and greet with what's
Pedro
his face
Pascal.
from Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Pedro
There we go.
Pascal, yeah. And then we'll interview his mom.
Perfect.
You know what? That would probably be a banger ass show.
Yeah.
Right?
She's got some stories, I bet.
For it.
I've heard them.
Let's do it.
All right, guys.
All right.
It's been the
love you both.
podcast, so we'll see you next time. Night, love you, bye-bye.
Demonetize this. Demonetize this.
You fucking Google ass bitch.
Demonetize this. Demonetize this.
Fucking Google something.
Demonetize this.
Holy shit.
Demonetize this.
You fucking Google ass bitch.
Demonetize this.
I didn't want to say it.
Demonetize this.
What are you, some kind of bitch?
Whoa. Demonetize this.
You fucking
Class bitch.
Demonetize this.
Why you keep bugging us, you two?
Demonetize this.
you fucking Google ass bitch. That's it. Show's over. We're done.
See you next Tuesday.